Hi, it's Joe Mazumdar, Exploration Insights. I'm at the March 2021 virtual webinar of the conference, I guess, pre-PDAC. And so with me today, I have the CEO of Heliostar Resources, Charles Funk. Charles.
How are you, Joe?
Good. And for those that don't know, Heliostar is listed on the venture as HSTR. And Heliostar was a transformational combination, I guess, between a company called Red Star, and now it's been Heliostar for almost 6 months. And you've had your first program at Unga, which is in Southwest Alaska. And I guess from those results, what do you plan on doing in 2021? I realized that last year you came in late in the season, and this year you'll be coming in like at the beginning of the season for more of I guess, a robust program. So yeah, what are the plans at Unga?
Yeah, I think our program late last year really opened our eyes to the district scale. We got some great results from SH1, 11, 12 meters at 6, 7 grams and up to half-ounce intercepts. We made that discovery at Aquila, which we think is wide open to expand, and we found the vein at Apollo. So we've got a property with 3 open intersections on 3 separate targets that have open intersections. And so we'll be getting back underway. We'll mobilise in a couple of weeks. We will have Easter being the start of April. It means we might be a week later drilling than we planned, but we'll be back up to step out from those intersections with a big goal of trying to show the first 1,000,000 ounces there.
And for those that don't understand, I mean, this is in Southwest Alaska. This is Pacific Rim sort of stuff, and this is mostly epithermal. Your classic, I believe, intermediate sulfidation systems, which at depth tend to have a lot of base metals. And one that interests me a lot, I guess, is that prospect. It's Apollo, is it? That they stopped mining it. It was one of the first mines in Alaska, I believe, and they stopped mining it when they got into the base metals because they didn't know how to metallurgically treat it. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah, I'm really excited about that as well. We've got these old reports and this old cartoon long section that tells you some of the grades, spectacular grades, but maybe 8 to 10 grams gold equivalent average with the base metal component that you referred to. They blocked it out. They literally sunk shafts down, drove the tunnels across and said, here it is, estimated the grade. And no one's ever followed up on that work until we drilled last year. And so our first holes hit workings and veins. So now we know exactly where they are. And then the other thing that was interesting is outboard of the major veins, something that had never been reported, is these broad lower grade zones. At Sitka, it was about 25 meters at a gram. It was about 11 to 12 meters at a gram, both of those gold equivalents at Apollo. So we might have these high-grade veins, but these broad selvages of lower-grade material, which would do wonders for the economics.
Right. So not only underground opportunities at SH1 and that, but potentially open pit amenable opportunities at Apollo.
Yeah, we've got a lot more work to do before we decide what that looks like. But if you've got multiple veins and then mineralization in between, it provides a lot more optionality for us. So we're just going to aggressively drill. We're bringing 2 RC rigs up as well as a diamond rig, and we think that'll help us get a lot of meters quickly. So yeah, from mid-May onwards, we could probably have our first results, which is very unusual for an Alaskan explorer.
Do you think that you'll have the same sort of delays in terms of assay results in this season versus last season?
Talking to the labs, the gold turnaround's got a lot quicker. They're in the order of 3 weeks for turnaround at the moment. And the fact that we'll be the first ones exploring means we're first ones to put our samples into the prep lab. So at least our initial couple of months worth of results, we expect materially better turnaround times.
So these will be 3 prospects that you'll be testing, SH1, Aquila, and Apollo?
Yeah, we'll definitely start with those 3. As I said, open intersections. It's not very common. And we've got a whole series of other targets. To the west is Empire Ridge, where we drilled 1 hole. We think that's an excellent target. A bit further to the west, a target called California. The old timers sunk a shaft and got between 15 and 150 grams gold in the old reports. Never been followed up. There's a porphyry target to the north that drilled 100 meters, 107 meters at 0.4 gold equivalent, doesn't have another drill hole within 400 meters. So it's such a target-rich environment that we've broken it down to the high probability, high grade targets, and then we'll work up these secondary targets behind that. That's the reason for our optimism at Unga.
Okay, and so in terms of meterage, how much do you think you'll be drilling up there?
We're a little going with the RC. You pay by the day, and we haven't done it up there, so we're not quite sure. We think we'll be on the order of 5,500 to 6,000 meters of RC and approximately 2,000 meters of diamond. But that's, yeah, we're not quite sure. We might be able to do better with the RC. We'll find out, but it should materially make drilling significantly cheaper going this route as well.
Okay, I mean, just for the viewers, the RC is reverse circulation. It doesn't provide you like continuous rock. It provides you little chips. It's easier to drill, let's say. It's cheaper to drill, definitely. And most of these holes would be more shallow than the core.
Yeah, around the same. We think with the compressors that we could drill down to 400 meters quite comfortably, but most of our holes will be less than 200 meters below surface.
Okay. And the tendency is for a lot of companies is to drill RC and then have a couple core holes in between. That way they know what the geology is. Is that right?
That's
That's
a
your plan?
proven method in epithermals. You know, I was talking to the team that discovered El Peñon a couple of weeks ago, and they did 90% of their drilling RC. So it's a pretty common concept for this. It's not very commonly done in Alaska, but we think it'll give us real advantages in getting a lot of meters quickly.
Okay. And besides this project that you have in Southwest Alaska, which is, your flagship, you've also, from your previous history, have picked up ground in Mexico. And what are your plans down there?
So we're in the middle of our first drill program in Mexico. We've got 3 projects in Mexico that we think have similar potential. They're just earlier stage. And so we're drilling 1,500 meters at our La Lola project. It's a big district, 6 by 6 Ks that has seen no drilling before, but it's got a vein that gets up to 40 meters wide. Our model is that the sweet spot is deeper, and so we're just stepping down on that vein. And if we can find that favorable zone where the gold and silver drops out in an epithermal, then we've got a whole corridor to explore. So we're busy at La Lola. We've got some really high grade surface results from Oso Negro, and they were rock chips and dump samples. So we've gone back to systematically channel sample those veins before we finalize our drilling there. If we can work out where the veins bend or join, which is where the ore shoots form, that will be our target there. And then we've also got a key block of ground that's in the middle of Silvercrest's Picacho project. And so that's never seen any real work. The veins trend from Silvercrest ground directly onto ours. They've announced some pretty good results in February. And so we're doing the first ever sort of mapping and sampling to understand Kumaro. So a nice portfolio of projects, a bit earlier stage, but we're busy on all 3 of those programs as we speak.
So those programs will be happening in parallel then?
Correct, yes. So our plan is to have results from Mexico for the next sort of 6 weeks to 8 weeks. And then by then we'll have gone back to Unga, and then we'll start having news from Unga. So we'll have consistent news flow. We started at the start of the year, and throughout this year we'll be very consistent.
Okay. And Mexico is, you can work year round at the projects that you've got there.
Correct, that's right.
Okay. So just to get an idea, you're funded for this entire program for this year?
Correct. So we've got a phase fully funded for our Mexican project, fully funded for our phase 1 project in Alaska. We do think that there's probably a bigger program, but let's see what our results deliver before we decide on the next steps there. So we can achieve everything we've spelled out now with our current funding.
Okay, great. So catalysts are drilling both in Alaska and Mexico, and you're going to start drilling around May.
So no, we'll be drilling in very early April. So we'll mobilize to site at the end of March. I think we might have our first results by mid to late May.
Okay, rightio. Okay, well, great. Thank you very much. That's Heliostar Resources CEO Charles Funk. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you very much, Darren.
Great. And then that's it for me, Joe Mazumdar, Exploration Insights at the Virtual Metals Investment Forum 2021. And thank you for joining us.